Hi everyone, welcome along. I'm Bree and today we're taking part in the Ikea Dresser Challenge, which is hosted by Cynthia over at Furniture Flipping for Profit. So thanks very much to Cynthia for creating the challenge and giving me an opportunity to play. With the Ikea Dresser Challenge, what you can do is vote on your favourites amongst all of the people who are participating. So to do that, you go to Cynthia's Instagram page, which I'll give you the address for down in the description, and she'll have all of the different pieces there and you can vote for your favourites. And there will also be in the description a playlist of all of the different people who have been involved, all of their videos showing you how they managed to create their beautiful things. So feel free to pop over there and have a look. I'm doing this dresser that I found on Facebook Marketplace. I got it for $20. It was in very bad condition when I found it. So it got brought home, put back together, you know, cleaned up, and then I decided to decorate it to kind of match up to this. This is my favorite bedspread, and this is obviously the pillowcase, but this is the kind of look that I wanted for it. So let me know what you think when you get to the end, whether I actually managed to achieve that. And if you're ready to go, let's get started. So the dresser came to me in a pretty shoddy condition. It had obviously been in the wars. That bottommost piece had been somehow yanked out of its spot altogether. There was a big hole in it, gouges. So there was some fixing to be done. So our first job was to shift all of the drawers out of it so that I just had the frame, because I needed to pull the frame apart just a little bit to fix it. Not just a little bit. I had to pull the frame completely apart, but you know. So after I managed to get the top off, and then I managed to get one of the sides off, I glued all of these supports in down the bottom, and then you saw me gluing them at the top there. I'm going to put the next bit back on, but I tried, but I just couldn't get everything to line up by myself, so I had to call on my Superman, Mr. Bree Imagined Grant, so that we could line them all up so that they could be pushed down and then tightened up in the Ikea way. Then I went on to remove all of the hardware and also fix up any drawers that were dodgy as I was going along. So this one had a piece gouged out of it, which I broke off, and you can see that there's actually a dowel that's gone all the way through, which has pushed it out of whack. So I went in with the multi-tool and just took the dowel back and then glued that piece back in. Clamped it in place. The bottom of this big drawer was loose as well, so I had to pull the sides, the drawer sliders off, reattach the base piece, fling a few more nails in it, and then put the sides back on. Then I went in and cleaned absolutely everything with a solution of sugar soap and water, and then went back over them with just clean water to get rid of any last residue from the sugar soap. And then I patched up any dings and nicks and things that there were all over it, so that it was ready to sand, which I did next. Sanded off the bits that didn't have any dings, got a scuff sand, but everything else got sanded back to flat, and then wiped back, ready for painting. So I went in first with a layer of blocker primer. And the reason I did that is because this is timber, and I did go back to the timber in a few places. And the other reason that I did it was because I'm painting it in lighter colours. So I wanted a light base to start the painting in. So it got a coat of white primer. Actually, I think it got 2 coats of the white primer. And then it was time for painting. I went in and painted a few of the inside bits before I started, but then I started to paint on the front surface. I planned to do some blending through here with 2 different types of blue. Now the problem that I had is that the 2 different types of paint were 2 different types of paint, so they really didn't want to blend. I'm using Rust-Oleum's chalk paint. The darker blue is Rust-Oleum's chalk paint in lake blue, and I've got to say that the coverage on this paint is really crappy, really bad. I was surprised, because I would have thought that a chalk paint would behave a whole lot better, but it really did not. It was really poor coverage, and I'll show you a little bit more of that when you get to see the top. But it didn't cover well, it didn't blend well, and while the blend turned out okay, it didn't turn out anywhere near as well as I wanted it to. Just in case you're wondering, this is the first coat. So the blend looks absolutely hideous here. But that's okay, because there will be another coat of paint put on, and the blend does come good, but it does look really terrible in this one. So don't despair, it is going to get better. So I just wanted to demonstrate this Rust-Oleum paint. I put a good lot on the brush, which is what I was told to do, and it left brush strokes. It didn't level at all. So it left brush strokes. Didn't matter how thick or thin you did it, the brush strokes stayed. So in the end, I decided to paint the top in a linen kind of pattern to take advantage of the fact that there was going to be brush strokes in it, which was 1 layer in one direction, 1 layer in the next, and then another layer in the first direction. So it looked like a bit of a linen-ish pattern on the top. Okay, so this is me going in with the second coat, and you can see the color is better, but it's still not great. This is the thing. It was 3 coats that I needed to do before the Rust-Oleum chalk paint really looked any good, and I was really annoyed, surprised, and annoyed. So I'm going to be swapping onto some better quality paint for my next couple of jobs. But yes, so this is just me blending in my own messy, inimitable way. Okay, so here's where things started to get fun. I decided to stencil the whole front in the dark blue, first of all, and I left that to dry. In the meantime, I did the decoupage on the top 2 drawers. So I'd found this beautiful paper at Kaisercraft and absolutely fell in love with it, and it got put onto the fronts of the top 2 drawers. So I'm just laying down a layer of Mod Podge on the fronts of the drawers, which I painted white, so they had to be white. So just laid that down, left it for about an hour so that it was properly dried, and then just using a craft knife cut through the middle there, and then with my sanding sponge just went across the edges and removed any leftover bits. If you're enjoying my content, feel free to subscribe to my channel, like this video and comment on it so that YouTube knows to play more videos like this. And if you would like to support me further, my links to buy me a coffee and my Amazon wish list are in the description. Thank you in advance for anything that you do to support me. I appreciate it all. So once the blue stencil was dry, I went back in with the light blue. That was Pushcat, who decided that she had to come and supervise while I was doing this, because that's what you want, a cat to walk through your wet paint. That's the best thing ever. Anyway, so we laid down the pale stencils over the dark stencils, and it turned out absolutely beautiful. So the next thing I did was I took these stickers. They're not stencils, they're not transfers, they are actually vinyl stickers. I couldn't find any stencils in a design that I liked, and these vinyl stickers were the only thing that I could find. So once I'd laid them out where I wanted them to go, I then went about sticking them all down. Once they were stuck down, I just took a blade and cut them back along the bevel so that they were flush with the top of the face of the drawers. And like I said before, I just had to grab my little artist brush and paint back in around the edges. So I put a layer of varnish on the top of the piece, and I don't know if you can see it there, but it looks like it came up with a bad case of acne. There's just all little lumps and bumps underneath the surface there, so I had to sand that back and lay down yet another layer. Then I grabbed my Dixie Belle Gilding Wax in Gold and waxed all of the handles, top and bottom, and then varnished them with a couple of layers of gloss varnish. And then the last thing to do was to reattach the handles to the drawers. And this is what we had before, and now for the big reveal. I'd like to thank Cynthia from Furniture Flipping for Profit for running the Ikea Dresser Challenge. I had the best fun ever doing this. I think this is probably my best piece that I've done since I started, which admittedly wasn't very long ago. But yeah, so if you're interested, go have a look at the playlist in my description and go over to Cynthia's channel and vote for the one that you think is best, and we shall see you next time. Bye.